Hello and welcome to News 9. I am Nishtita and first up, tragedy struck at a construction site today in Bengaluru. 2 people were killed and several others were injured as they got trapped under debris in Bairati village in Hennur. All injured have been rushed to the hospital. Rescue operations have been called off as well. Tragedy that has struck Hennur, where an under construction building where just the foundation was being laid and labourers were digging earth for the same came under the collapsing debris due to damp soil as there was a stormwater drain running adjacent to the plot. 2 labourers of the 3 who were trapped in the debris have breathed their last, whereas the third one is currently undergoing treatment at a local hospital. The rescue officials carried out operations for close to a couple of hours before pulling out the third victim, who breathed his last as well. There is a massive hue and cry for action to be taken against those responsible for such an incident, as it was being done unscientifically. There was no check done that there was an adjacent stormwater drain. The possibility of the mud being damp and the possibility of a wall collapse was not taken into consideration, and neither were any of these labourers provided with safety equipment like helmets or boots. The builders have not responded on the matter, and the rescue officials have for now called off the efforts. Well, 2 people have lost their lives and several others have been injured in this tragedy. A shocking incident that emerged from Hennur, where even as labourers were digging the earth to lay foundation for an upcoming building, the earth collapsed on them. And considering that it was earth of considerable height, 2 labourers lost their lives after they were buried underneath for a couple of hours. Well, 2 labourers killed and 1 injured, but no reaction coming in from the builders. We have seen such instances come to light in the past where accidents like these have claimed many lives, spread across various instances in the past, but unfortunately no strict action is ever taken against any of the errant officials or any of those responsible for the carelessness. In this case, the builders have not reacted. They have not been booked as of now. They have not come to the spot. They have not taken responsibility for the situation either. And the officials who had given permission to this building have not carried out inspection as to whether safety equipment was provided to the labourers, whether there was scientific survey done before the digging had begun. And moving on now, Home Minister KJ George stated that it has come to light that officials at jails are extorting money from relatives of prisoners. The Home Minister stated that officials were indeed demanding money to let relatives meet prisoners in the jail. He added that he has asked the ADGP of the prisons to take strict action on the matter. Well, Home Minister KJ George has made some startling statements there, as he has gone on to state that officials in jails are extorting money from relatives of prisoners. The officials are not allowing the relatives to meet the prisoners unless a hefty amount is paid to them. The Home Minister has also demanded the ADGP of prisons to take strict action against errant officials who are involving in such corrupt practices.
ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಟಿವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಎಡಿಜಿಪಿ ಗಗನ್ದೀಪ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಈ ಥರ ಆಗದಂಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಹೌದು, ಅಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಮತ್ತು ಯಾರು ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೇಳ್ತದೆ, ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟಿವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಹೇಳಿದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಸಮೇತ ಇದಾಗದಂಗೆ ಗಮನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ.
2 labourers killed and 1 injured, but no reaction coming in from the builders. And the officials who had given permission to this building have not come to the spot as of now. The officials have not responded on the matter, and the rescue officials have for now called off the efforts.
ಗಗನ್ದೀಪ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ
Well, there we have it. The Home Minister himself accepting that there is a sort of an extortion racket in the prisons, as relatives of prisoners are not allowed to meet the prisoners unless they pay a certain amount to the prison officials. Such a malpractice has been a major hindrance for especially relatives of poor prisoners who come with a lot of hope of meeting their loved ones. And now the Home Minister has taken stock of the situation and has gone on to demand that action be taken against these errant officials. And moving on now, there were scenes of protests that broke out at St. John's Hospital in Bengaluru. Angry parents and relatives staged a protest outside the hospital for alleged medical negligence. An 11-month-old child identified as Sai Kiran was admitted to the hospital 2 months ago, but doctors allegedly kept delaying the treatment, and now the baby's condition is said to have worsened. Well, earlier the doctors had said that the baby's condition had stabilized, but now they are refusing the parents' permission to check on the baby. The parents are demanding action against the hospital staff. Koramangala police has visited the spot and are looking into the matter. And the parents and relatives of the 11-month-old child have gone on to state that despite repeated pleas and despite repeated requests, the doctors ignored their child and did not carry out required tests and treatment. And now it is too late and the child's condition is critical. And now the family members are not being allowed to meet the child. Let's not forget that St. John's Hospital is one of the more reputed hospitals in the city. And such a development, however, has come as quite a shocker, but they have not reacted to the issue as yet. However, an extensive protest has been organized right outside the hospital, where protesters have held up pictures of the doctors in question as well as the baby, and are demanding action against the errant doctors. And moving on now, 3 policemen were injured in a honeybee attack at the Vidhana Saudha today. The incident occurred at the west gate of the Vidhana Saudha, where several ministers were barred from entering the premises as a result of the incident. So these were the scenes witnessed as several people in the premises of Vidhana Saudha were victimized due to the honeybee attack, as someone had disturbed a honeycomb in the vicinity. Many of the workers in the vicinity were bitten by these honeybees. And the VVIPs, however, were not allowed inside the premises for close to 4 hours until the attack had subsided. There are several honeycombs that are formed in Vidhana Saudha, which are quite common in Bengaluru. We see several tall buildings having honeycombs, but one small disturbance and these honeycombs could prove to be quite a menace, and that's exactly what happened in Vidhana Saudha today. But after several hours of the officials being barred from entering the Temple of Democracy, they were finally welcomed in. Well, based on the PIL filed by Advocate Amritesh, the court today issued emergency notices to the centre and state government as well as the Navayuga Trust. The notice was issued by the divisional bench of the High Court, asking them to justify their stand on the toll fare hike at KIA. Well, Bengaluru advocate Amrutesh had filed a PIL against the hike in toll prices at the Karnataka High Court. In his PIL, he has requested the government to take appropriate measures to ensure a service road is constructed. Well, we had earlier spoken to the advocate. Let's listen in.
My petition is, first of all, it is a public interest litigation because it is a burning issue and it is connected to all the publics who are using the national highway on Kempegowda International Airport Road from Bangalore to Hyderabad Road. They all of a sudden on third night they have raised the toll fare from 30 rupees to 115 rupees. It is right. 4 times. There is no scientific method in this one, and there is no proper agreement between the government and that private company. And it is nothing but a daylight robbery. Now I questioned it before the Honorable High Court of Karnataka. Now today it has came before the court, and the Honorable Court has pleased to issue the emergent notice to all the respondents. And also the hand summons, personal summons has to be served on the respondents. After serving it, I am going to move it before the court for the interim order once again. This is my petition before the court.
Right, and also, what kind of a response are you expecting from the government? We know that the Chief Minister had held a series of talks, but that did not materialize, that did not lead to the toll being rolled back.
It is very clear, especially in the state government and the National Highway Authority and that the private company, they are all hand in glove with them. And knowing fully well, they are making a daylight robbery of the public by escalating the fees from 30 rupees to the 115 rupees. Just you can imagine. Nowhere in the country, in Chennai or in the new international airports came in the Hyderabad. They are not, there also the express highway is there for international airport to approach. There is no, they are not collecting the fees. In Chennai also, in any other cities you can see, they are not collecting. Only here, with this private organization, the government is making the bucks for their selfishness.
Right.
Only the thing.
Mr. Amrutesh, now we also understand that it was the BBMP's responsibility to construct the alternate road which was stopped midway. So hasn't the Palike been made a respondent in the case?
No, I have not made the BBMP. It is only the state government I have made it. The state government and also central government, it is a simple question is that if I have purchased any vehicle, I am going to give the life tax and also road tax. Whenever I have paid the life tax and the road tax fully, it is the responsibility of the government to provide me a road, proper road. If it is an express highway, I am not interested to go on that one. Service road, they have to provide it. The ordinary person who are not going to pay that much of money, he has to be given the alternative service road. That is my contention.
Well, that was the petitioner going on to state that it is the government's responsibility to provide adequate road to the people, and that they cannot impose such high and inexplicable toll fares on people and expect to get away with it. Also, the non-presence of a service road has made the situation all the more tricky for the Karnataka state government, and now notices have been issued to the government as well as Navayug, who are yet to react on the matter.